The number one question, which was actually put by the speaker, is in terms of the formation of the Azimio coalition party.
Is it okay? Is Azimio a okay? You know, okay. Sorry, I may sound a little bit a stranger, but is Azimio a party or a coalition?
It is a party. Actually, that's the formation that I am talking about.
Yeah.
There is actually the too big is actually Kenya Kwanza, which is a coalition of parties.
Is a coalition of parties. It's not a party itself.
No, it's not a party by itself.
Okay.
Then Azimio is actually Azimio party. It is actually a party, just like ODM or like UDA.
Oh.
So in terms of the formation, there was actually something that they did not look into. And you see one of the things that happened, and that's something that the speaker actually stated and noted. He said, one, in terms of the Azimio, they don't have any representative in the parliament. The only person,
a party.
Yes, it is a party, and the only person actually who actually stood with the
that's technical.
Yeah, the only person actually who was in that party.
Yeah,
and he went to vie on the party is the president. The presidential candidate,
was
Honorable Raila Odinga, was the only person who was actually in that party, vying as a party.
Yeah.
All the other people vied in their own political parties.
ODM,
yes, Jubilee,
Wiper,
yes, and all of them, they were actually in their own parties. And therefore, you see, the speaker said one thing, and this is actually should be very clear to people. One, he said it is either, if you talk about coalition, you move with the coalition in determination.
Yeah.
If you talk about parties, now you look at the strengths of the parties individually.
Yeah.
So the first thing that happened is, in parliament, nobody could stand and say that I am actually a member of parliament of Azimio party. None of them was
no
actually,
one stood.
No one. They can't stand because they were not there.
Yes.
So that one, in terms of the determination, it was a bit of a challenge. And it was very easy because of that flow for the speaker to make the decisions that he made.
Yeah, okay.
Number two, if they did not go towards the direction of coalition, they were actually now supposed to go into the terms of which party has the largest in the house, which again, it is the UDA, which has 145, against the ODM, which has allowed 89. So again, you find that the UDA is higher than the ODM.
Yeah.
So in the whole of this thing, there were so many things that were not well crafted. And I don't know how they were not well crafted, because they came to hit now the Azimio party.
And they have got very good brains in Azimio.
They have actually the top
lawyers.
The top lawyers are actually there.
Yeah, so but they did not see that.
They did not. The other issue that they talked about is in terms of the engagement. There are some people, there are some documents that they said that the people in the parties, they signed.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, Wiper party, there is a PA and all these, and even my Dereo Chap Chap, they said that they signed some documents. These documents, they had been presented on Tuesday by Junet.
Yes.
And when the speaker looked at those documents which had been presented, he said, look, these documents are inadmissible. They cannot pass. Why? It is because some of them, they lack the consistency. In terms of signing, you find 2 people have signed here, 5 people have signed the other page. So that's where now there was a problem. Which document do you really go with?
Yes.
And the same document.
And who do we take as the signatories?
Correct.
Yeah.
And you see, the registrar was actually given and told, look, bring the document which were deposited, because it is the law of the registrar, which were deposited. The same documents that Junet had brought on Tuesday are the same documents that were brought by the registrar of parties.
Okay.
And therefore, those ones now, in the first place, they could not determine who is going to be majority using them. And the number 3 point, which actually the speaker talked about, is there are some few people who, late even before we went to vote,
they
had already left the marriage in terms of not officially, but they had given their indications that we want to live. We don't want to be in these things. Why? It is because we were coerced in doing what we are doing. And you heard people say that we were not given the full document. We were given some few pages. So it was saying we signed under duress. And therefore they felt we are not safe in this arrangement. So they pulled out. And therefore when they pulled out, the question that was being put yesterday was, there is the Bill of Rights. Which becomes superior? Is it the document or the Bill of Rights? If, for example, people have left, and that's what the speaker said, it is not my business. People did not like this association. And because it is their right to move or to get in, therefore, in terms of the 14, that number also became a problem. And at the end of the day, that's where the pronouncement was done. And the speaker said that the Kenya Kwanza has 179 as opposed to 157 for Azimio. So I think there were so many gaps, and the gaps were brought about by the Azimio themselves. And therefore, really, I don't think there was
So now the president controls the two houses?
Actually, he controls the two houses, 100%.
Okay.
So it is actually about...
So for his legislation to go through, it will be easy.
It is. And
if
also,
he wants to help this country, he can.
Yes, he can.
Yes.
The only thing that we are also saying is we also need a strong opposition. That is a fact.
As Kenyans, even personally, I think I missed the opposition in the previous parliament.
Yes.
I really missed the opposition. I really want to see people questioning things.
That is the thing. And that is exactly what you're saying. And do you know, and let's give it to Honorable Raila.
Yes.
Honorable Raila is one person who has made this country to take the strides that it has taken. Why? Because he was very focal and he played his role well. He could not let the government go with the things that were happening. Actually, he was like a whistleblower.
Yes.
Anything that is not going well,
he would raise it.
And
but if the president does not respond, they go on.
Correct. And that is exactly the days that we need to go to, whereby the government will not just do anything. There will be someone who is strong. Right now I can see Kalonzo is actually coming up in a good way. I like what I am seeing in him.
Okay.
And he has said, look, I am not interested in any position, but we'll take you head on. And I believe he has the capacity. If he can continue that way, he is doing it. We really need the types of Kalonzo who are going really to say, this is right. When you are doing the right thing, we'll back you up. But when you do the wrong thing, we are not together. And I think that is the kind of the government that we really need to see.
Wonderful, wonderful. We are taking a short break, and when we return, there is a burning issue on GMOs, and we don't know which way to go. The president has pronounced himself, and some human rights organizations have come up to raise concerns. When we return, we will delve into that. We will be right back. Don't go very far.
You have an opinion, we give you the mic. When you see us around your estate, marketplace, or home, we are here to bring you your stand.
Sasa sisi tungependa wafanye tu mambo ya maana, angalau sisi vijana hata akifanya mambo ya maana tutarudi tu kumvotia.
Governance, politics, social and economic issues surrounding our nation.
Matarajio tunayo mengi, tunatarajia alete mabadiliko kwa wakati huu. Kwa sasa hivi maisha imekuwa ngumu.
Join me, Victor Nzabeli, every Monday from 8:45 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here on EBN TV.
Are you a church, institution, or an individual looking to make your events services or commemorations memorable by capturing it on video or streaming on various platforms, EBN TV offers video production, streaming, documentary production, and scripting services. Get in touch with our sales team on 0740 653 453 or 0713 492 865 or 0721 936 847. This is EBN TV, transforming your world.
All right, welcome back to the Leadership Challenge Show, live on EBN TV every Friday. With me is David Kamau, Wamathu.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us here on EBN TV.
Thank you too.
We are striking a conversation on one of the hottest topics of the day, the introduction of GMOs. And we need to look at the pros and the cons, the advantages and the disadvantages.
Correct.
But as the topic appears, it looks to be capturing many Kenyans unawares.
That is true.
Looks like Kenyans are not aware what are GMOs.
True.
So I don't know what are GMOs.
GMOs, actually, it is actually genetically modified foods.
Yes.
So it is actually, that is what we are saying. So there is more to do with changing the structure. When we talk about modification, and it is touching on genes. So there is a bit of modification. So the maize that you have been eating is not the maize that you are talking that you'll be eating in terms of the GMO. There are a bit of some few changes. So when we talk about the GMO, that is genetically modified foods. One of the things that I know is that, and this is where as a country we do things not in the right way, is that there is the public participation. Most of the Kenyans should be aware about what is it that we are
and
talking about.
they should be able to
give their views.
And to know what is this.
Yes, that is the thing. But you see, sometimes we just say something has been uplifted, but even if you go and ask people what is the impact, what is the advantages, they don't even understand about this thing. And I think that is one of the serious challenges that we have. I know this whole thing of discussion about the GMO, it is not starting today. Actually, it was there even during the former president.
For some years now we have had this conversation.
2010, 2012, the issue of GMO came about. And at that particular time, it was said we are not going this direction. And there were good reasons as to why. The people at that particular time, they say that we should not go the direction of the GMOs. And one of the issues that they stated is, when you are changing the configurations
of the genes,
and such things, there are things you are introducing in terms of our food. And you have seen, Lebred, you have seen even sometimes in some other countries, you can be able to eat a chicken which is how many months old? How many weeks? 6 weeks. Which, if you go the normal way, you will not be able to get a chicken without that, within that kind of a period. So it means there is something that you are introducing into that chicken, which is not really the normal process of layering a chicken. And some of the concerns that the people had is, what you are introducing, how dangerous is it to my body? And these are the questions that Kenyans have not been answered. And that's why you are finding that quite a number of Kenyans, they are really not, they don't know, is it GMO way? Is it the natural way? They don't really know, because not much has been told.
It looks like there is something about GMO that is like appealing to the eye. And maybe that is what maybe the president is looking at. Because they say one of the benefits of GMOs is high yields.
Correct.
Number one. and less and resistance to pests.
Yes, to pests. Yes.
So, but on the other hand, then we must look at the disadvantages. Yes. And what are some of the major disadvantages of GMO if you try to look at it critically?
I will actually get to that question. Allow me just to say one thing and then I'll go to the disadvantages.
All right.
One of the things that is not very clear to the Kenyans is number one. In terms of uplifting what has happened just some few days ago, the question is, have we done what in 2010 they had said that this is why we are not going GMO ways? Because one of the things they said is that number one, there are no structures.
And there's no legislation.
Yes, no legislation and all that. If you go to America, what you find that they are actually, they started in 1996, they started now doing these GMO things. But one of the things that you find is that there are quite some structures. In terms of the fields, you can say this one is actually a field with a GMO, this is a field with a natural foods. And there are
regulations.
The regulations. There are several meters that you should ensure because of cross-pollination. Ensure that this one is not going near. You see, you contain it within its parameters. But in Kenya, the problem that we have, and that is one disadvantage.
Yes.
That's why I was starting with that, is because our piece of land is very small. You find that where I am growing maize, another person is growing maize, the other
GMO
field.
And the organic are going to cross.
So there is going to be that cross-pollination. And therefore, at the end of the day, what you'll have is actually a disaster. If it is not well done, it is the structures are not well done, then it becomes a bit of a problem. So that one, where we are in Kenya is already a disadvantage. If it is not well actually done, it is going to cause a bit of a problem.
You know, there is something I don't, and maybe we can try to find out here in this conversation. And if you are watching, we also would like to know your views about it. But when the president talked about introducing GMO, I wonder whether he talked about importing harvested GMO food or us growing GMOs themselves. Because when I try to understand what the president was up and about, it was about the hunger situation in the country.
Yes.
So he was talking about importing GMO maize.
Correct.
But I think he had not come to the place of talking about planting GMO maize. And so we seem to be a little bit mixed up and confused about the whole conversation.
And that is precisely, that is actually a problem that we have.
Yes.
The whole of these things has been rushed. It is no preparations. And you know, the challenge is the people who have actually approved are not going to implement what they have approved. Because you see, right now, as we are saying, the cabinet, the ministers,
yes,
they are going to be changed within a very short time. They
so the cabinet that the president is working with is exiting.
It is exiting, and that is the challenges where we are saying it is exiting, a new one is coming, and there are no proper structures. Even right now, they have not told us. And let me say one thing, because also we are continuing with the disadvantages. Number one, 2010 or 2012 thereabout, one of the issue which was being mentioned is that there are likelihood that the GMO can cause cancer. That is one of the things that was in that particular time when they were actually saying no,
and
we want to stop this.
It was a great apprehension on the people.
Yes, I remember Betty Mogo. She was actually in that docket at that particular time. And actually they pushed that and they actually brought about. And now the question is, this is actually, if it will cause any disease, it is a very big disadvantage in terms of you are making the society to be vulnerable. And now the question is, and these are the answers that maybe we really need to get. Is there any research which has been conducted which tells us there is nobody who has ever gotten a cancer out of the GMOs? That is one research that we really need to get to know. And the other research, the number 2 is, would GMO really cause cancer? So there are 2 things which really need to be answered for people to be comfortable where they are. These 2 researches, even when you have been hearing people talk about, they are deliberately not answering those questions. And I think that is where it is making the Kenyans to be a bit, you know, confused about the whole thing.
Okay, so we begin to ask questions right now.
Yes, we have.
And the first question is, when the president talked about GMOs, did he talk about importing harvested dry foods that are GMOs? Or did he talk about us growing GMO foods in our farms? So that question needs to be answered.
That is the thing.
That
question
needs to be answered.
the way you have said,
yes.
Right now, even where I am seated, I cannot even answer that question.
Whether it's about importing GMO maize or planting GMO maize, we don't know.
Those are the issues.
Okay, if then we break it into 2 about growing GMOs or importing GMOs into 2. So if we import and we do not plant, we may not need legislation because and structuring.
Yes.
Because wherever we are importing from,
yes,
there is a legislation there.
Yeah, there is already.
Okay. So what are the disadvantages of importing GMO products into our country? We may need to begin there because I think the whole cycle of growing is a little bit more complicated.
It is more complicated.
Yes.
So now the disadvantages. One is, and it is a big disadvantage, which people may not really see it that way.
Yes.
If you are importing, you must import what you know you are importing. Because right now it is a GMO. How has it become a GMO? There are things that even the KEBS and all the bodies, they really need to tell us, what is it, the component which was put in this food? So that is already something which is a very big disadvantage, in the sense that we are actually eating what we don't know.
Yeah.
Eating what you don't know is actually something which is not good. In fact, let me tell you why it is a disadvantage. Right now, the Western countries are going organic.
They are going organic?
Yes. They are actually now going to the natural. Yes.
They are campaigning towards organic.
Towards organic.
We are campaigning towards the GMO.
Towards the GMO. So how comes we are going to bring food from people who are also trying to get into our direction? So I think for me, it is a bit of a shortcut in terms of now getting it. The question is, we need to ask ourselves. And I heard actually the Tanzanian, by the way, they have actually talked about, they have gone ahead and they have said, look, if Kenya is going to produce GMO, and that's another disadvantage, some of the markets like Kenya, Uganda, who are not registering on this GMO,
yes,
you will find that you'll be unable to export, to sell to those markets, because they are now not sure about your food, the quality of your food. So if, for example, you have excess maize or it may be excess beans, and people are not sure, the markets which we started by saying we are expanding the markets, what we'll do is that some of the markets will not be able to sell.
Okay.
And if you are not able to sell, then you are actually going to find that in terms of the economy, it may not do well. Because Tanzania, they come and say no.
We will not buy.
Uganda, they come and say no. So those are some of the things that we are saying. It will affect us as Kenyans in such a big way, because other people are not sure about what we are doing.
You know, as you speak like this, and the way we do things here in our country, we also need to be a little bit more strict when it comes to KEBS.
Yes.
And because when I enter into the supermarket today, I don't know if I'm buying cereals. For example, maybe I don't know what product is GMO, because it's like when products come to Kenya, we do not label them GMO.
True.
So if there is maize being sold here that is organic and GMO,
yes,
they will not want to show the difference. They will just want to say kuna mahindi, nunua mahindi.
Correct.
So why I'm bringing this is I'm wondering whether we have some GMO products on our shelves in the supermarkets, and if they are there, are they labeled? And if they are not labeled, why are they not labeled?
And those are actually the issues that we were talking about, even in terms of importing.
Yeah.
When we import, it should be very clear that I am now eating GMO food.
Yes. You must be able to read
yes,
it.
Yes, you should be able to say this is a GMO, this is the organic. But as you have rightly put it, right now if you go to the supermarket, we could be eating a lot of GMOs. Even right now as we speak.
Even right now?
Yeah, even right now as we speak. But the issue is, we have not actually thought about this process in a very big way. And that is the challenge that you are having, because even for you, I can see you are worried and you are asking.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. You see, like now, let me tell you, like, if during the COVID time, there was an issue about the vaccines. You remember?
Yeah.
Many Kenyans really did not want to take the vaccine. Why? It is because they feared you are going to introduce something into my body system, which is not a natural thing. Now, it is actually the same position we are in. People are actually saying, there is something you are introducing. The food that I eat goes into my body.
Yes.
So, what is it that I am eating? Am I eating chemicals? Am I eating what? Am I eating bacteria? All these kind of things are the question that people are actually asking themselves. And therefore, these are things that we are saying, this is a discussion that really needs to be done in a way that the uplifting Kenyans really understand.
So the lobby groups and the rights groups, they are out there. I think 10 of them yesterday, they came out so strongly and clearly. And they want that conversation, first of all, to be stopped.
Correct.
What do you think is the way forward from where we are? Because the president has already pronounced himself. But what the president has said is not backed up by parliament. And the ministry also, people in charge of the ministry, people in charge of research here in this country, people like Kavoi.
Yes.
And they have not said anything about it.
True.
What do you think we should do so that we be safe?
One of the thing is, and I think these lobby groups are going to bring it out. I think there will be a serious discussion on whether we should go. Right now we have the freedom, but it's whether we should go or not. In the sense that, you know, it is better we do the right thing, not just the wrong thing, because it will come and affect us. So I think the way forward is, number one, there should be the participation. If you look at the CBC right now, what is the challenge? It is not that CBC was a very bad thing, but they lacked their participation. So you find we are going to participation after things have been implemented. So the way forward for me on this, let's do it right. Let's not go into it and then now we start having participation, because we need to hear the views and the questions we are asking, they need to be answered. They need to come to Reverend Kavoi and ask him, what is your view about this? What is it that you think should happen on this? And these are the things that we are saying. Therefore, there really need to be a serious discussion. So if we are going for GMO, we really need to be told, apart from just being told about resistance to pest and all these things, and the yield, because you see, by the way, Reverend, the yield is dependent on so many other things. It is not only it is not only the type of crop. The soil is an issue. There are so many other things that really, the rains is an issue. So there are quite a number of things that really need to be right for us to have that kind of a produce. So the question that we really need to do is, let the Kenyans understand. And I would really ask our government, before they do what they are going to do, let the people of Kenya be comfortable about what is going to happen. Because right now I know people are not even understanding what is this thing about the
and you know what I fear, you know, the the position of the president is a high position.
Yeah, it is.
By him pronouncing what he pronounced, there could even be people that have already rushed and placed orders of importing the GMOs.
It has happened.
And maybe we are talking here and the maize is on the ICs.
That's the thing.
Coming to Kenya, headed to Kenya. What do you think to make sure that does not happen? Can we first of all talk about like stopping all dealings about GMOs until maybe an exhaustive, substantive conversation has been done about it?
For me, I think, Leverett, that is the right direction. And I think if our government would care to listen, we are part of the people that they are trying to help. But we are saying, look, let's understand what is happening before we go into it. And therefore, we would say the government should actually put the structures, proper structures. They should be able to explain to us why that, GMO direction before they take it. And therefore, for me, I would say that we really need to tread on this ground in a very careful manner. Because if we don't do it, we'll have a bit of a problem. We don't want to start things and again, because they were justified reasons. First of all, we need to be told, these are the reasons which had been put at that particular time for us not to go GMO. This is what we have done. 1, 2, 3, 4 things. We have done these things and therefore we are safe. But right now, I'm not feeling safe. Okay. You are not feeling safe. Another Kenyan is not feeling safe. So why do you do things which the people that you are really taking care of are not safe about it?
Okay. So really urging leaders that we do not rush things without public participation. And I think public participation is anchored in our constitution.
Yes, it is.
So it becomes a constitutional right for Kenyans to be involved in any discussion that on matters that pertain to their lives.
Yes.
And so even this issue of GMO, let it be brought to Kenyans and let us talk about it even in more detailed way.
Correct.
Of course, the president had concerns. He appealed or tried to turn to GMOs because of maybe the pressure of anger. Seeing people die and you are the president is not a good thing. And seeing people being ravaged by famine and drought and all that, I think is not a good thing. So he, of course, he wants to help. He wants to feed Kenyans.
Sure.
I think that may be a driving reason behind his pronouncement. But we are taking a short break, but when we return, we want to explore and ask ourselves, if we are not going to import GMOs, or before we turn to GMOs, what are other low-hanging fruits, other easy ways to free ourselves from hunger without necessarily being too extreme and going to GMOs? Correct. We take a short break, we'll be right back.
Watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
You have an opinion, we give you the mic. When you see us around your estate, marketplace, or home, we are here to bring you your stand.
Sasa sisi tungependa wafanye tu mambo ya maana, angalau sisi vijana hata akifanya mambo ya maana tutarudi tu kumvotia.
Governance, politics, social and economic issues surrounding our nation.
Matarajio tunayo mengi. Tunatarajia alete mabadiliko kwa wakati huu. Kwa sasa hivi maisha imekuwa ngumu.
Join me, Victor Zabeli, every Monday from 8:45 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here on EBN TV.
Okay, we are back, and thank you for joining us in this conversation. Before we went for break, David Kamau, we said it is out of concern, and of course we can call it care.
Yes, that is true.
The president wants to feed the nation, and I'm saying it's not a good thing to be a president of a hungry nation.
Yes, yes.
So I think in an effort to try to address it, then he pronounced himself on the GMOs. And because now people are really concerned, and we may need to listen to the people. What do you think the president, other choices the president has? Because I think we are angry because of the way we have handled the agriculture
yes, that is true.
Ministry. We have had big projects coming up. We have water flowing all the way to the Indian Ocean every day.
Correct, yes.
And it rains in this country. We cannot say rains do not rain, but all the water runs into the Indian Ocean. So, well, what do you think are other immediate measures that we can take to address our hunger situation?
Thank you. That's a very big question.
Yeah.
And exactly what we are saying is we are in a continent called Africa.
Yeah.
Where we don't have issues to do with GMO. Most of the country. Actually, it's very few countries which are doing the GMO in Africa. The question that we really need to ask ourselves, have we really looked in terms of the African nations? Some of the nations actually have excess of what we don't have.
Okay, yeah, I hear that.
You get like to Tanzania, you find that it is also agricultural country. There are some few things that you find the Tanzanian government, actually the people of Tanzania, they are producing and they have a lot. It is just like Kenya, you just come here, you find people are dying. But look at, go to somebody, I'm telling you, there is one day I went to, just not very far from Nairobi. I went to Kinangop, and I was so surprised to see that even the cows, they were refusing to take cabbage.
And the people are scrambling for cabbage.
Yes, people are scrambling for cabbage here in the city. Yes. Yet you go there, the cabbage is being thrown.
The cows themselves, they say we would not eat cabbage.
They will not.
Yes.
So some of the hanging fruits actually, it is even in our country, Kenya.
Yeah.
Have we really gone down there and asked ourselves, what is it that we can get from every region of Kenya, even before you go anywhere else?
Yes.
And you'll find that there will be some food. It may not be a big percentage, but if it gets like 5 to 10%, it is something that would help.
Yeah.
For the people who are actually like in Northeastern, they don't have food. Those cabbages, instead of just throwing them and they lot on the roads, it is better that now you have a program whereby you are going to gather what they have in excess and you take to the regions where they don't have excess.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things which I think it has not been done well. Some of the farmers, even you go to Kitale, they are saying, well, we have our maize, but the price is too low. In this particular time,
so they are holding it.
Yeah, they are holding it. There is quite a number of times you find that the maize is actually getting spoiled in the stores. Why? It is because sometimes the price. So they are saying that you are saying that a bag will cost maybe
4, 5 or 3, 5.
But when they look at the implement they have put in terms of producing that bag,
4,000 is not enough.
Yes, it is not enough. So the question is, for this short term, because I believe it is a short term kind of a thing, you can be able now, and that's why we were saying there are sometimes subsidies are not good, but subsidies sometimes are okay.
For short term,
it is not
like a stopgap.
Yes, you are not saying that this subsidy is going to continue forever, but you are saying for these few months.
Yes.
In terms of this consumption, we can allow at least we now come and say we are going to to, as a government, we will give like this amount of money to every bag that the farmer has.
Yeah.
And you'll find that many farmers will be able to release what they have. Again, you go to, now if, for example, you have exhausted that, you can go now to other countries, neighboring countries, and you go and seek what is it that they have in excess. Which country is able to produce?
And I hear in Malawi and Zambia they grow a lot of maize.
Yeah, they
There's
do.
A lot of crazy maize there.
They do.
Yes.
And that's where now, as a government need to have a structures going to this market and saying, look, for this time we will allow for the maize to come in. And it is the maize that we are saying, it is the organic maize. Because I know the government has very good plans. Within a short time, actually what they are doing, we would be able now to start growing and being able to harvest. And some of the things they need to do, number one, is that they need what they are doing, like terms of fertilizers. The other implements also we put in the farming, they really need to look at them. The other issue is what you have talked about.
Yeah.
During the rainy seasons, all the rains goes to the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
How comes we are not able to move and harvest that water?
Yeah.
That water can be used for irrigation. What does that mean? It says, even if the rains are late, you will still be able to have some regions where they are able to produce at least some food for themselves.
Yeah.
So I think without a proper planning, because I know the government had started the issues of dams.
Yeah.
It was politicized.
Yeah.
And it is because many things maybe had not been done.
No, there
in
was
the
a
right
lot
way.
of corruption
Yes.
with those dams.
Yes.
There was a very huge, big corruption with those dams.
So,
and so it would not help.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is we now come with a proper program. We find that we are able to start going more into irrigation. And when we do that, some regions, I really looked at another region in Tana River.
Yeah.
One region, the other side is very dry. This other region is very green.
Yeah.
And it is only because of the issue to do with the water. And therefore what we are saying, some of the regions, by the way, that we are saying people are hungry, if you planted food in those regions, because they are lands which have never been cultivated, they are very fertile.
Yeah.
So if you planted food,
you'll not
with
even
water,
add manure.
it
will
will
just
not
grow.
add. Yes. That is the thing. This fertilizer we are talking about, there are areas we don't really need even that fertilizer.
Yeah.
The soil is already very
what is needed is water.
Yes, what is needed is water.
Yeah.
So I think the government, if there is anything this current government really needs to go to, if they want to be, you know, the food security, in terms of they are serious about food security, we cannot be growing by waiting for rains. There is a way we can do it.
Exactly what you are saying, and I agree with you. So instead of importing GMOs, because I don't know whether GMOs have been grown very close to us here at home.
No.
If GMOs will come, they will come from like South America.
Yes, correct.
You know, those kind of continents that are very far. Instead of buying GMOs from that very far, why can't we look at within the region, nations, and they are all friends. We saw all these presidents here during the swearing in of our president. The president of Malawi was here, the president of Zambia was here, the president of Zimbabwe was here, and Tanzania, and all these nations have a lot of maize.
They do.
Why can't we just, you know, make arrangements with those governments for the maize to have, and it is organic.
That is the thing. That is the thing.
Yeah, instead of talking about GMO, I think GMO is it should be used as a last resort.
It should. Yeah, actually, when we have exhausted all the systems, we have exhausted what is with our neighboring countries. I think that is where now we can start and say, look, guys, we have looked. Malawi, there is nothing. We have looked. Tanzania,
Zambia, there is nothing.
We have looked at Zambia, there is nothing. If we actually get to that point, we would say now, we can't allow, we can't allow our people to die.
Okay.
So I think that would really speak.
But also the good thing, David Kamau, is that we are able to turn around the hunger situation in a span of 3 months or 4 months maximum.
Yes, allow 4 months.
Yeah, around 4 months we can turn around the the anger situation.
True.
But good planning has to be done. Good planning has to be done, because like now we are approaching a rain season on the lower eastern of the country. Of course, I know on the other side maybe their food is a little bit up now.
Yes, correct.
But on the lower side, we are approaching a rain season. What preparation are being done? And you know, as we look at the people that are coming into office, I'm seeing people like the Minister for Agriculture, the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture. I think if there is anybody in this country who has an uphill task, it is the Minister for Agriculture, the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture. Because whatever things you begin to put into place, there must be those things that can bring good results to the people. And then we must also, the president must pronounce himself on corruption, on project money.
Yes,
that he should be ruthless when it comes to anybody caught up in a matter of corruption with the projects, public projects.
Correct.
Because why the dams failed is because one dam that can just be done by a county tractors and caterpillars. They want to heap a lot of money and make it billions of money for it. And it is really not costing that much. And if we really begin to focus on that and begin to ask questions to those people who are doing this quotation, because we saw Machakos County buying tractors. We saw them buying even ball drillers. We saw every county they have this machinery.
That is the thing.
And the machinery is lying there at the county headquarters. And if these machines were working on a daily basis, making a small dam for 10 families, another 10 families, another dam, another 10 families, and you will find our geographical terrain. It looks good, because somewhere around every 10 families there is like a small stream. You can do a dam at the lower end of it.
That is the thing.
But we seem to want to do this one dam that is serving like around 5,000 people. And the dam has costed so much. Before even the dry season, right now we're in the month of September, most of the dams have run dry. They have no water.
I mean, Reverend, you are saying something which is very practical.
Yes.
And something which is very real. And I am saying this because there is what we call water pans.
Yes.
They are very cheap to do.
Actually,
one water pan, the true cost, I know when people are tendering for it, they will actually put 13 million and something like that. But I can tell you, one water pan, the true cost is 4 million.
4 million.
This 4 million, you know what happens with the water pan? Is that we now harvest the water, and for a certain region, that the way you are saying, for a community, maybe like allowed a community of 10, 20 people,
homesteads.
Homesteads, there is actually a water pan. This water will be used for the animals. It will be used even for the home use.
Yes.
What we have seen, and I have actually been going even to Narok, because I am a farmer by my own life.
Okay, yes.
And I can tell you, I have seen those water pans. Sometimes they can go for quite a long time when people are having that water. So one, in terms of their animals, they are not going to be dehydrated the way you find them even falling down. Because look at it. Ask yourself, an animal moves 20 kilometers to go to get water. It travels back.
It burns all the energy.
Yes. It goes back another 20 kilometers again to where they are actually grazing them.
Yes.
So the question we are asking ourselves, what is it? The water pans, I can tell you, it is something I have seen. I have gone through the budgets for the water pans. A 5 million is actually a good water pan, which you can harvest that waters for your animals and even for the home use. If, for example, you were to sit down and plan very well, you can imagine 4 million, how many water pans, how many places can we be able to
reach with that water?
Even if you have some few mega dams. These other water pans, during the time that we are harvesting, they are able at least to make people to live a decent life.
Yeah.
There is water, there is actually the animals are there. So this is actually how to uplift our people.
And I think we also have to be realistic in some of the approaches that we are saying we are uplifting the people.
Yes.
If you go to Wakambani, they are talking about the Thwake Dam. Let me tell you, from my home to Thwake Dam, it is over like 50 kilometers away.
I can tell you.
That thing will not help us.
It will not benefit
and it will not help my community where I am coming from.
True.
Unless the government is talking about other things. But when, you know, when we come to a region, we talk about this big dam, you know, this big Thwake dam.
Yes.
But that Thwake dam is going to serve a very small community where it is. And the rest of Ukambani is going to be left hard and dry without water. You imagine Thwake Dam is somewhere in Makueni, and where Makueni and Kitui South. But look at the Mwingi section. Look at the upper part of Machakos. You find there are wide areas they will never know even what is that is benefit.
They don't actually feel
so
it.
We are doing big mega projects, and then we ignore other small stopgap measures
which could
that
help
we can do and
people.
could help.
Yes.
You know, even if we do not have money for digging dams and water pans.
Yes.
You see, if you go like to Machakos, almost every homestead has a mabati building. Yeah?
Yeah, we can harvest.
If you give every homestead a 10,000 liter tank,
it will go a very
and they harvest water from just those mabatis.
That's the thing.
Not even the rainwater that is going to the soil. The one that is on that mabati. You'll find that there will be so much water in that village. Because every homestead has a 10,000 liter. There will be so much water.
Correct.
In that village. More water than even the water pan.
That is the
they
thing.
are built with a lot of. And a tank of 10,000 liters is like around 65, between 65 and 75,000.
That is the thing, yes.
And think about how many 10,000 liter tanks you can buy from the cost of one water pan. And you see, the problem is because we have only one way of looking at things, and we do not explore other simple and easy and cheap ways of addressing our problems.
That's the thing. Actually, I think that is the strategic direction that our country need to go to.
Yes.
Whereby you are actually, you know, sometimes, and this saying that you are understanding the people, many people don't understand.
They don't understand.
Because, as you are saying, it is very easy to turn around the lives of the people. You are actually seeing a family which is struggling. You do it, it is one cost. As you are saying, at 65,000, it's a one-off. Then after that, you'll be able to harvest water for a very long time.
You'll never see people pushing jerry cans.
Correct.
These people are pushing jerry cans because our leaders are insensitive.
Yes, can you imagine?
And that money is available. They can do that for families.
Can I? And I agree with you. And I can tell you, building the economy, one, someone who is actually going to fetch water several kilometers, how productive are they? And we are talking about the productivity of our people. You will find that a whole day, someone is actually traveling looking for one jerry can of water. And we are talking about building the economies in this country. I think our leaders need to wake up, and they really need now to start thinking strategically about how to change the lives of the people. And that is a very good example. You will find that the time they have been using to go and fetch water, and they are going to fetch water where there is no. Look at some areas. I realized you go to a small cave. Have you seen it? Actually, in the Turkana, you are going to a small cave. You are using something just to try and to scoop.
You are using a cup to scoop
to scoop
water inside a hole.
Inside a hole. One, it is very dangerous. for that particular
because the
person.
land can cave in.
Yes, it can cave in. The water will not also be good. You are actually caving. When you are doing like that, even the water is dirty and all these things. What we are saying is, why can't we come up with proper mechanism of harvesting water? And now once we harvest that water, you will find that this person will go and do another productive thing. And therefore that we start building the economy. And that is where now we are saying, let people start thinking. Because if we don't do that, we are talking of just one dam. We spend all of our money on those kind of things. I can tell it will be very difficult to build the economies.
Wow. This conversation, we cannot exhaust it today, and we will need to have another day. But definitely there are things that are looking at us, and one of those things that we have really talked about passionately here in this program is the issue of doing small things that are not that very expensive.
Correct.
To turn around the lives of Kenyans.
Yes.
And let us stop taking advantage of projects.
Correct.
Because when we talk about a dam, it's like everybody wants to be famous out of that dam.
Yes.
And yet there are other small, cheap ways we can do
Correct.
to address. I will never stop to be angry with the leaders as long as I'm seeing women kicking jerry cans and pushing water. I will never stop to be angry. And you leaders, you are listening to us. This is not the right thing we can do. There are other many cheap things we can do with the money that is available at the county and at the constituency that we can do for the people.
That is true.
When we come here next time, we want to look at, because this government has come into office with the ASLA narrative.
Yes.
And we want to see some of the things we can do for the small businesses.
Correct.
Let's not even talk about medium. The small businesses. Things that the government can do to make sure it's like they are spurring growth in the small businesses. And maybe that could involve removing some licenses.
Yes,
and because you find in some places people are paying more than 3 licenses. Even to be able to sell sweets by the roadside. And so it becomes really very expensive. So I think we need to indulge into this. Today we talked about agriculture. Of course, we'll talk more about agriculture next time, but we want to focus more on the ASLAs, the Kenyan people down there. And I think almost 90% of Kenyans, working Kenyans, are down there in the small businesses. And how we can, the government can come in and change their lives. Your final comments?
In terms of my final comment is that it goes to our leaders. Let's be sensitive and let's get to understand the needs of our people. There are several things that we are doing. They are not benefiting the local person, the Wajiko that we keep on talking about. There are things that Wajiko wants to see happen in their lives. But there are things that we keep on, especially the capital expenditures. Sometimes they don't help Wajiko in a big way. Therefore, let's get in touch with the people that have put us in those offices, and let's make sure we have a strategic plan for them. Because if we want, we can be able to change the life of the people down here.
Wow. Yes, you have sent it home. And, you know, if we help Kenyans with the farmer, if we help the farmer and we help the trader, you know, our economy is up and running.
Correct.
And nobody will even borrow from anywhere because the farmer is producing and the trader is able to buy from the farms and trade with it and sell to those who are in need in the cities.
Correct.
So those are two areas that the small people are involved in, and the government can really come in a strong way and turn around our economy. And because if 90% of our economy traders are there, then definitely that is a big chunk of the economy.
Correct. And
we need to look at it. Wonderful conversation here. Thank you for your views, and thank you for keeping with us here live on EBN TV. This was the Leadership Challenge show every Friday here at 7:30 in the morning, and we are ending